Anyone who wears masks at protests now face up to 1 year in prison. And it is going to be interesting to see how the police enforce this law, because at the weekend we are expecting large numbers of people to take to the streets, possibly tens of thousands of people. Are the police going to do mass arrests, or are they going to target people and then arrest them later? So that is really an unknown. We don't know how this law is going to be enforced at the moment. It is worth noting in the last hour, 2 activists had brought a case to the High Court to challenge this law, and in the past few minutes a judge at the High Court has declined their suspension, so that has been declined. The barrister for the government had said that this law would infringe of the rights of some people, but it was in the public interest.
Let's just get a look at one particular shot that we got live, one part of Hong Kong. I think we can see it now. Not a lot going on in this particular shot. This is in Sha Tin, which is out in the New Territories. It's a big residential area, isn't it? But I mean, obviously this is just one tiny part of Hong Kong.
Yes, as soon as Carrie Lam announced this ban of wearing face masks in this law, people immediately bought face masks and took to the streets, and they've been on the streets for hours, and the protests are going on in Sha Tin, as you're seeing there. They're also going on in all parts of Hong Kong. I saw one video where people threw petrol on a bank, on the Chinese construction bank. So they're targeting banks owned by China, lighting them on fire, vandalizing parts of the city, and all of the train stations in Hong Kong have now been closed, and police are now trying to clear people with tear gas. They've declared everyone on the streets right now rioters, so anyone on the streets right now also face up to 10 years in prison.
I'm not sure if it's the 17th or the 18th weekend that we're at. It's been going on since June. How is the rest of Hong Kong life functioning with all this?
I mean, this weekend it'll be the 18th weekend in a row where people are taking to the streets, where people's normal lives have been disrupted. Today, when people took to the streets, they took to the streets in the heart of the financial district and shut down roads near where stockbrokers work and in the middle of the city. So this has shut down parts of the city. It's affected the hospitality, the tourism industry. So many parts, so many businesses, and especially tourism, has been affected by this.
And therefore, how much support do these protesters do? The thousands upon thousands of people we see on the streets grab the headlines. How does the rest of Hong Kong more widely feel about this?
This protest movement is largely led by young, disenfranchised young people. But having spoken to people and having seen posts on social media, the view from the government had been, as these protests get more violent, the public support behind them would decrease. But actually what we're seeing is that these young people do still have broader support from the wider population. And for these young people, the issue for them, they look at this as the end game for Hong Kong. For them, they think that they are fighting for Hong Kong's future and for Hong Kong's freedom, and that they are on the streets to defend that for as long as possible. They don't believe in Xi Jinping when he said that he believed in one country, 2 systems. They don't believe that he's going to keep that promise and keep Hong Kong's autonomy, which gives Hong Kong the right to protest and a separate judicial system for 50 years. They don't believe he's going to keep that promise, and for them is just around the corner, so they're on the streets to protect the freedoms of Hong Kong.